A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P. From the ABCs to pomp and circumstance, it all happens so quickly. And we parents are there for our children. Hi, this is Sharon Marshall Lockett, your host on Home Sweet Homework. We've got a great program planned for you today. The theme of today's broadcast is College Begins in Kindergarten. Now, the truth is, it begins a long time before that. But we're going to look at what to do, what parents need to do, and what children need to do in the grade levels, kindergarten through high school graduation, to make sure their college experience is a reality and to make sure they're prepared for reaching their dreams, for admission to the most prestigious institutions, the institution that is right for them. In my SCORE program, we have a motto for parents, actually for teachers. That motto is, every child deserves a pushy parent. If they don't have one, you're it. Well, I want you to be the pushy parent in the lives of your children. In every survey about whether or not children go to college, parents are the number one determining factor, the number one influencer. In over 50% of the cases when we said, what influenced you to get your college degree, to go on into higher education, parents were given as the number one answer. When my son was a junior in high school, someone said to him, Jeff, are you planning to go to college when you graduate? Jeff laughed and said, am I my mother's son? He didn't have a choice. He had a choice about where he would go. He had a choice about what he would major in. But whether or not to go to college, oh, we decided that for him before he was even born. In today's broadcast, we'll take a look at kindergarten through 5th grade as one group. And then we'll look at 6th grade, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th singly, because there are specific things that your children need to do and that you can help them with in every grade level to prepare for college. Well, first of all, what do they need to do in kindergarten and maybe even before kindergarten in 1st, 2nd, 3rd grade, the primary grades, and in 4th and 5th grade, the beginning of what we call upper elementary? This is the fun thing. You see, what they need to do during those years is to get a lot of experiences. I talked to the mother of a child that we suspicioned might have a hearing problem. Her comment was, he's not deaf, he's just stubborn, he's very bright. Well, bright and a hearing problem are two really different things, and yes, he was bright. But as I talked to this young mother, her husband was staying home with him, and she said he doesn't know he should talk to him. So maybe a very quick parenting tip is in order here. Talk to your children. Talk to them about everything. Give them names for things. Give them proper names for things. Help build their vocabulary. Help provide them with experiences. Take them places. Let them order for themselves off the menu. Let them make decisions. These are all great skills to prepare them for success in school, for success in life, and yes, for preparation for college. So tip number one for these primary grades is explore the world. Explore the world around you. Explore the world not around you by reading. Visit new places, experience things. One of the fun things that I got to do when Jeff was just tiny, like 2 years old, was to go out and march with a marching band. Now, did we have a marching band? No, but our high school marching band practiced in our neighborhood, and when we heard them coming, we would run out to our front yard and march, playing our pretend horns and beating our pretend drums. That was part of preparation for college. That was part of developing him, of giving him experiences. So the fun part of parenting right now is experience with your children. Talk to your children about anything and everything, experience with them, even watch television with them to make sure that what they're watching is age appropriate, and to explain things that might come up while you watch television. And of course, it can't be said enough, don't spend too much time sitting in front of video games and television. This is a way of life for our children, and it's brought great things into our world. But like anything else, we can overdo it. Read with your children, read to your children, have your children read to you, and make sure in those primary grades that they are at grade level at the end of every year. If they're not, sign them up for a special class over the summer or hire a tutor. If they get behind in reading kindergarten through 5th grade, they will be knocked out of a college prep sequence when they enter middle school. So kindergarten through 5th grade, experience, read, and talk. And then listen. Tiny children have some idea of what they want to do in life. When my son was little, he wanted to be a daddy. He's not a daddy yet, but he'll make a great one when the time comes. Then he wanted to be a fireman. Then he wanted to be a psychologist. He had all kinds of dreams, and I cheered every one of them, knowing that when the time was right, the dream would come true. His dream always involved helping people or doing for others, and today he's a sociologist. His dream is coming true, and his exploration as a tiny little guy helped form that dream in his mind. So listen to what they want to do, dream with them, tell them your dreams for them, but more importantly, cheer their dreams. There's a great old quote by Harry Truman that says, if we want to give advice to our children, we should ask them what they want to do and then advise them to do it. Well, this is important, and it's important from cradle to grave that you be their cheering section when they share their dreams with you. Now, beginning in 6th grade, there are a handful of things that change. I remember going to my son's back to school night when he was in 6th grade and having the teacher very excitedly say, now this year we'll be preparing your children for junior high. And I went, oh my goodness, my son is going to junior high next year. That's a milestone. That's a big milestone. And the purpose of 6th grade is to prepare them for middle school. In 6th grade, reading and experiencing and dreaming are still important. In fact, they are for your whole life. But in addition to that, you want to make sure in 6th grade that your child does well enough in math to be placed in pre-algebra in 7th grade. This is a really bad fluke in our educational system, but grade level math in 7th grade will not prepare your children for college. So you want to make sure in 6th grade that the math scores are high and the reading scores are high. You and your child need to talk to the 6th grade teacher about placement in an advanced math class next year. This year also, you want to help your child work very hard on communication skills. Make sure they know how to ask good questions. We have a technique in my SCORE program that we train for 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th graders. It's a communication skill called feedback. And when you think about it, when you get angry at someone or when your children get angry at you, what do? They either act out, yell, hit, scream, or they wall off. They get very quiet. They run away. They back off. Well, using the skill of feedback, we train our students to build a bridge back to learning, not a wall and not a war. We train them to do that by helping them ask great questions. Questions that aren't pointed, but asking a question for clarification. So when you and your child are having a disagreement, and disagreements will happen in the best of families, stop and say, tell me what's going on, ask me a question, let's talk about this. We train them to give new information, and then we train them to put what they're thinking, what they're assuming, into words. You see, when we talk to our children, 80% of the message they receive is not our words, it's our body language. So when you're having a discussion and it gets heated, you want to stop and say, tell me what's going on. What are you thinking? What are you feeling? One tool that I learned to use with my son during those times was to send him into the computer and have him type out his little gripe list. Tell me what's going on. Ask me questions. Let me know what's happening with you. Tell me what you want to happen out of this discussion. Once it was on paper, it solidified in his mind, and he could hold his own in a discussion with me. Why am I emphasizing communication so much? Because it is one important skill in mastering life. They don't require that you give a speech to get into college, but you'll need to be able to speak effectively and to ask intelligent questions to get through your college classes and to advance on the job. When we taught these skills of feedback, ask non-offensive questions, give new information, put your assumptions into words, our sixth graders loved it. We used to have to laugh and tell them, you can't win every argument with these skills, but you'll win a lot of them. And of course, sixth graders love to win their arguments. And in sixth grade, leading up to sixth grade too, but especially in sixth grade, sit down with your children and spend some time talking to them about college. Tell them where you went to school. Tell them about your school days. Tell them about the fun you had. Tell them about the class you aced and about the class you failed. Be real with them. Make college come alive in their minds and hearts. Well, we've made it now to seventh grade, the heart of middle school. So what do we need to do in seventh grade to be ready for college? Well, number one is make sure you are in an advanced math class in either pre-algebra or pre-algebra next year. Work on those listening and communication skills, and in addition, spend some time in different kinds of libraries. Now, I know internet is there. That's always the first place I look things up. But every once in a while I visit the library and think, oh, I have forgotten what a wealth of information is here. Libraries have computers now. Libraries have help with homework centers now. Librarians love to give you a tour of the library. So go to the city library, but also go to a college library. Go to a college bookstore. Begin visiting things in the next levels of education. We talk a lot about building bridges, even in communication skills, but here you want to begin to build bridges to the next higher level of learning. Plan a trip to your feeder high school and visit the library. Plan a trip to your feeder community college and visit the library and the bookstore. Go to a four-year college nearby and visit the library and bookstore. Go to the community library, meet the librarian, and see what services are available to help with homework. Seventh grade is a fun time to explore, and it's important to plant those seeds early in the lives and hearts of a child. Seventh grade is also the time when their dreams begin to take on a little level of sophistication. When you talk to a child up through fifth grade about what they want to do, they might say, oh, I want to go to UCLA and I want to be a fireman. By seventh grade, they're beginning to realize that they become a fireman a little differently, but UCLA isn't the right place for that. And so they begin fine-tuning their dreams. Now, don't worry about those things. Just cheer them on. Those things will take care of themselves when the time is right. Well, eighth grade. Oh, eighth grade is such a fun time in the lives of children. Make sure in eighth grade they're in a pre-algebra class, and make sure in eighth grade that they are taking notes in their classes, whether or not their teacher requires it. Being able to listen and find key points and take notes and ask questions is a vital skill that will carry them through all their lives. Work, especially in eighth grade, on their reading comprehension skills. So often in reading and writing they struggle when they get into college, and it's because they never learned those deep skills of comprehension. We will devote a couple of broadcasts, future broadcasts specifically to deal with reading comprehension. Ask your school counselors to share information about college with you in eighth grade, yes. In California, there's a little booklet called Futures that's given out to eighth graders. Ask your middle school counselor what's available, and they begin to look at career aspirations and develop their little personalities then. This is a very fun age in the lives of children. A cocky age, a frustrating age, a preteen age, but in the middle of all of this growing up that is kind of crazy. Don't forget to enjoy your children, because this is a very fun time as the world opens up to them. You know, I haven't mentioned much about music and sports and drama and dance and things like that, but those are important to a child's development. And they're important to school achievement, and they match college prep. They teach things like practice makes perfect. They teach work ethic. They teach being a team player. They teach good sportsmanship. They teach striving for perfection. So all of these things are important. In the very wonderful book by Robert Fulghum, Everything I Needed to Know in Life I Learned in Kindergarten, he says that in kindergarten, everyone can dance, everyone can sing. Well, by the time they reach eighth grade, they somehow have a mindset of, I'm not very good at dancing, I'm not very good at singing. That's sad. I wish we could change that. But just as importantly, by the time they leave eighth grade, they need to have a lot of experiences. By the time they get into high school, they'll know both if they enjoy something and if they're pretty good at it. Encourage that talent, whatever it is. And now there is the magical world of high school. If your children are in ninth grade, make sure they're in Algebra 1. If they're not, you as parents have power. You go down to that school office and you fight for your children. You may need to hire a tutor, you may need to get them some extra help in math, but they need to have mastered Algebra 1 by the time they finish ninth grade. If they haven't, they will not be in line for a 4-year college experience. Make sure they're in college prep English. Fight with your school over that if you need to, but make sure that it is a college prep or higher English class. Make sure they take a foreign language. Now, this is one of the crazy things. Our brain is set so that we learn language when we're young. And unfortunately, here in the United States, we don't teach them a foreign language until their brain has switched. And now they're focusing on other things, and we try to help them go back and develop a second language. In today's world, it behooves us to help our children become bilingual, but they must take 2 years of a foreign language and pass it to get into the most prestigious colleges and universities. Beginning in ninth grade, they need to chart their progress in college prep courses. Most of these are computerized now, and every semester your children should bring home from school a little chart that shows what classes they've taken, what grades they've earned, and what else they need in order to be eligible for your state university. If for some reason you don't find that at your high school, you can go to thecollegeboard.org to get information on what courses need to be taken. Keep track of what courses they take and what grades they earn. Every school system is a little bit different, but for the most prestigious institutions, they usually require courses that may be taken in ninth grade, but they calculate grade point average on courses taken during grades 10, 11, and 12. Some use all 4 years, some calculate grade point average only on academic subjects, and some use all subjects, which includes the arts and physical education. So you want to take a look at what college your children would like to go to and look at what their specific requirements are. In 10th grade, your children need to be enrolled in a second year foreign language. They need to be enrolled in geometry or a higher math. They need to still be in a college prep English class. And they need to start exploring colleges and universities, thinking about which colleges they would like to go to. It's interesting that every college has a personality. And when the child's personality and personal needs match the college they choose, they graduate at higher rates than otherwise. For example, if your child needs a small, intimate atmosphere, they want to look at the small private colleges. If your child needs a major research university, they want to look at the bigger colleges. If they need to stay close to home, they need to look at colleges close to home. If they need to get away from you for a year or two to practice growing up, they need to do that. So visit college campuses, just the ones that happen to be near you when you're out of town, when you're on vacation. Let them get a feel for the college campus that's right for them. We took my son and a couple of nephews out of school one day to go to the college graduation of one of their cousins. It was in a outdoor Greek amphitheater overlooking the ocean, absolutely stunningly beautiful. And my sister and I looked at each other when the day was over and said, this is the best thing we've ever let our kids cut school for. It was a great experience. Let them visit campuses. Let them get a feel for what's right for them. Also in 10th grade, you want them to take their preliminary college prep exams. It's either the PSAT or the PACT. Now, it doesn't matter which one they take. This is a practice test. So they can take it and look at their score, and you'll know whether they need a test prep before they take the real thing the next year. We use it as both a counseling tool and as a tool to reduce test anxiety. Well, 11th grade now is a big year in the lives of those bound for college. They need to be taking a laboratory science. They need another year of English. They may or may not take more foreign language at this stage. And they do need a third year of advanced math, probably Algebra 2. Some schools combine it, but they need the third year of college prep math. They need to be in either college prep or advanced placement in every academic course. Advanced placement courses give them an extra grade point. For example, an A in a college prep class is worth 4 grade points. An A in an advanced placement class is worth 5. They don't have to be an advanced placement, but if they aspire to be a doctor or an attorney, and if they want to go to the most prestigious universities, they'll better their chances if they do take honors or advanced placement courses. If they didn't take the PSAT or the PACT last year, they'll want to take it October of their junior year, and they'll want to take the real thing, the SAT or the ACT, in either April, May, or June at the end of their junior year, not their senior year, but their junior year. Now, the good thing about the pre-college exams, the SAT and the ACT, is they can retake it for a higher score. But whether or not they need to is almost a hidden secret. They need to only if their grade point average is low and they need a higher test score to become eligible for the college of their choice. They don't need it at all if they go to community colleges. They just need to go through the formality of taking it. In most private universities, it doesn't matter what they score on it. They need to go through the formality of taking it. If they do poorly, there is a lot of help available to them, a lot of classes, online tutorials, and a great book called 10 SATs that is available in any bookstore. You can help them work through that. and keep visiting colleges through 11th grade. Now is their magical senior year, and they need to begin calling or writing every college they're interested in attending. They need to go online and fill out applications. This is a good time to go to collegeboard.com, where they can click on 3 colleges they're interested in and have them compared with the click of a mouse. And they need to apply in November of their senior year to every major college they're interested in attending. That means in October they fill out practice applications, and in November they ship off the real thing and wait for the good news to come in the mail. By the way, remind them to just enjoy their senior year of high school, not to do senioritis, not to goof off, but to relish these last few days of them being in high school. They're fun times, and you as parents, remember to enjoy them with your children. There are a lot of wonderful events. Don't miss a one. With all this information, you may now be thinking, well, but college isn't for everyone. What if we do all of this and my child decides not to go, or it just isn't the right field? The answer to that question, and my personal belief, is that every child should graduate from high school with both what we call a saleable skill, the ability to support themselves, and with the ability to go to the college or university of their choice, whether they choose to go immediately after high school, whether they decide to wait 5 years, or whether they raise a family and go back to graduate with their children. It doesn't matter. They need that foundation. They need choices. You see, making sure they're prepared for college is actually making sure they're prepared for life. Then you may be thinking, but I can't afford it. We're not wealthy. We don't have the money it would take. Or you may be thinking, how much does college cost? When my son was in 9th grade, a friend of mine had a daughter beginning college. He said to me, why didn't someone tell me 5 years ago that it would cost me $1,000 a month to send my daughter to school? I laughed and said, well, my son is 5 years away from college, and I know that, and it doesn't matter because there's no way that I could put away that kind of money in savings. So I want to tell you, if your children were beginning college this year, the cost of college for them could range from $1,000 a year for them to go to a community college and live at home with you to $50,000 a year at some of the private colleges and universities. There's a wide range, so check out cost when you look at colleges. I also need to tell you not to worry about financing their college education if you, like me, are poor. Your job as parents is to help them and pay for college if you have the financial means to do it. Your job as parents is to support their dreams and give them wings and cheer them on if you do not have the financial means to do it. So when they say things to you like, I want to be a doctor, instead of saying, but we can't afford to send you to medical school, say, oh wow, that's a wonderful goal, and you know we're poor. We can't afford to help you financially, short of a miracle between now and then, but we love you, we believe in you, and we will help you in any way we can. Circumstances change so quickly that we really have no idea of what it will cost when your children get there or how much financial aid or help will be available. But right now, your job is to nurture those children to give them their wings. If my son were listening in right now, he would undoubtedly say to me, TMI, Mom, you've given too much information. And I know that there has been just a lot of information that I've given to you today, and it's maybe confusing to you, especially if you're just now looking at the issue of college. There are always questions you have, specific questions. And if you have personal questions that you want answered, you might consider joining our subscription series of Home Sweet Homework. You'll have unlimited internet and email access to our team of educators who can answer your questions. Visit my website, homesweethomework.com, Add your name to the mailing list, and you'll receive a free copy of our publication, Follow the College Prep Road, which outlines all the information we've talked about in this broadcast today. Next week, we begin the march into the holiday season. So our show next week will be called Say Thanks. We'll look at how you, the parent, need to say thanks to your children, and how you can teach them, too, to have a thankful heart. We'll look at the synergy and the wisdom in the concept of join us next week. And until then, remember, even a kindergartner remembers the song Pomp and Circumstance. Give your children roots, teach them to fly, and give them wings. This is Sharon Marshall Lockett, HomesweetHomework.com. Thank you for joining us.